a better, more informed citizen of the world. With me, as always, to fill our token character is Tomas.
What do you mean by that?
What do you think I mean?
I don't know. That's why I asked.
Well, if you don't know, how am I supposed to?
You're the one who said it.
Yeah, I know.
What token am I filling, Matt?
What are you filling?
I don't know. What you tell me. Matt's the mastermind.
I don't want to. I don't want to put genders or labels on you. I don't think that that's appropriate. So
I identify as an attack helicopter. Thank you. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a week. I need a beverage to get myself going, so we're gonna get going.
the okayest streamer is live in the chat. Before we were even live, he was chatting and sent us a beautiful picture of him with aviators.
Please be his wiener. Oh.
No, they don't allow that on Twitch.
You'd think they would, with all the growth.
I'm sure he can Snapchat you one. I bet he'll Snapchat you one.
I hope so. It'll make my day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about some things, catching up on the news. You know, primates have entered the Stone Age, the Bronze Age. I think it's the Bronze Age. No, I think it's the Stone Age. Basically, they're catching up. We're doomed.
You think? I'm actually really upset that you just called it the Bronze Age. What do you think the Bronze Age meant?
Using refined metals and ores.
So you thought that primates were using refined metals and ores?
It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't.
It would not. Oh, and I have a... All right. I got some stuff I want your opinion on. Let's rock it, though. I got my ball of magic right here. Let me see what your future holds. Lots of dicks.
Looks like you're going to be slurping on some Slimer fucking juice.
Kind of. It's Limerita. I mean, it's 20%. It hits like a truck. I need it to hit like a truck. I was taking a nap. It's been a long week. I was in the sun all day.
What I'm just saying that it looks like Slimer got jerked off into a fucking tube, and that's what you're about to drink.
I think more of Flubber. Flubber for sure.
Flubber?
So,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, and, all right.
Surprised you've seen that movie, to be honest with you.
That was one of my favorite movies growing up. I love Flubber. Such a bad movie with a weird robot. AI is real. Would you ever let your sons join a traveling baseball team?
If they were good at baseball, maybe.
I saw one of my coworkers is part of a traveling baseball team. His son's really good, but he said they pay for like private baseball lessons, like the whole shebang. He's in middle school, and he says it fucking blows because it takes up like all of your free time and all of your free money. I'm like, oh,
yeah, that's what travel sports are now for kids. Like the Sioux Falls has a little league team, and they actually made the Little League World Series again this year. They were there a few years ago, and they had this stud pitcher who, like, he threw as many innings as he could, and like nobody got hits off of him. He had like a 1 ERA, and had ton back again this year. And the time in between games, like, they played a game on a Sunday, and then they didn't play again until like Thursday, and they're in Pennsylvania. So they had like 5 days. Like, it's not like you can just drive home.
Yeah.
Like, that alone is bonkers.
I could see that.
But
sucking ass. I mean, as a kid, I'm sure it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Just not as somebody paying for it.
Yes.
Because you're missing work, or you're missing your kids' games.
It brings me back to that South Park episode where the kids fucking hate baseball. They're just bored, and so they're trying to lose, and it's a battle of who's the worst team. Because they get to go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see that being a real thing. I hated baseball growing up. I wasn't a fan. I was bored to tears. I needed a more interactive sport like soccer, right? Constant running and stuff. Personally.
Well, baseball can be fun if you're good.
I wasn't. I mean,
Probably
I
no
could
fun
hit
when
the
you walk
ball.
up to the plate and strike out 3 times.
I could hit the ball, but I could never like get more than a single. You know, I could get on. I could get on base, and that was it. I was a fat kid, so I was barely scraping by. I don't know, but let's do shots. I've got other questions to ask you.
Okay. All right.
Ooh, fireball. Nice.
I'm gonna ignite the night or ignite the next 2 days. Start them off right.
I am very excited.
I fly out. We fly out at like 5:30 tomorrow morning.
Well, that means, well, thankfully airport bars are open really early, so you could just hit it early.
I doubt they'll be open. I don't think they'll be open that early. Maybe when we land in Denver for our transfer flight.
They're open at like 9-ish.
Yeah, maybe in Denver, but not. Yeah.
Should have went
At
to
5:30, I think we'll be sober.
Should have went to the liquor store and got shooters in the parking lot before you go onto the plane.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Yeah. You need to not remember a great concert you paid money for.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
All right, you want to go first, or would you like me to?
I would like to go first this time. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
This is relevant. All of my friends, and by that I mean like coworkers, my friends that I have that are like at least like 8 to 10 years older than me. They're all seemingly parents that are involved in their children's sports, and being a kid whose mom, because my dad really couldn't be, whose mom was really involved in my sports. I gotta say, it's like unsung heroes that you don't really think about until you're an adult with kids. So this one is just to all the parents out there going to games, showing up, being active. It's fucking awesome. You're doing the right thing. Cheers to you.
How many ounces is that fucking thing?
It wouldn't go away. I kept drinking.
5? I know. Like, watch you just shotgun a fucking
How many?
Mickey's hand grenade.
What's 187 milliliters in freedom? Let's find out.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, I'll do my shot while you're Googling. So my shot goes out to all the kids who get to start school tomorrow in our area. I know there's been tons of posts. It's crazy. Some schools started last week. My kids start their first day tomorrow. So cheers to kids. Enjoy your first day of getting back to the grind.
You ready for this?
Yep.
I present to you the audience, the OK streamers, Wiener. Saving that forever. Ugh, that boosted my day. As you know, I've been working a lot more at my unit, which is just requiring me to actually work more. So.
Aww.
I'm just a little gassed. Mentally tired more than physically. Although I did have to move lockers, and it was 112 out today.
That sucks.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But I got lockers, so that's kind of cool.
Don't live in Texas.
I don't want to anymore. After today, like, I'm done. I fucking thrown in the towel, boss. But I did have something really interesting. I have a question. So, Holly is always on me about my birthday. I don't really celebrate my birthday. Mm-hmm. I haven't since I became an adult. My parents made me celebrate my birthday. It was awesome. They gave me awesome birthday parties. I have great birthday memories. I just became an adult after 21, and it's just like, okay, it's just a birthday, like, whatever. So she's been hounding me because this year is the big 3-0 of what I want to do. And there's like, I mean, I could do so many different things. Like, we have a really nice income between the two of us, and I decided I want to go camping at the Devil's Rivers Bend. Now, Here, I'm asking, at any point in your relationship with your wife, would you ever have considered going, quote unquote, primitive camping? And by that I mean it's an hour away from the highway down a gravel road, no electricity, no running water. There's a campground with one like park ranger, and that's it. And it's very primitive. Like that's all there. There's nothing out there. However, it has absolutely zero light pollution, so like you can see the Milky Way and stuff. So it's gonna be really fun. Is that something you guys would have ever done?
Um, I don't know if my wife would have done it. I would have been fine with it. I mean, we kind of did that when we actually went and stayed in Montana a few years back. And we stayed at this, it's called the Jim Joe Campground. They did have like an outhouse, but there was no electricity. There was running water. They had these spots right next to the creek, so you could go, if you wanted water, you either brought it with or you had to go pull it out. They had bear lock boxes because there was a lot of bears around. And we actually did that with the kids.
Damn. See, that's what that was going to be my follow-up. Like, would you ever bring your kids camping like that?
Yeah, especially now. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a ton of fun stuff you can do, and I just don't like if you're into looking at stars and stuff like that. Then yes, it's a good spot to go. But other than that, like the bigger question I have is like, why do you go camping? Like, what do you? Because a lot of people go camping for a lot of different reasons, and you got to figure out why you're going camping and what you want to do camping. If your enjoyment of camping is floating a river and drinking, that might not be the best place to go because it's going to be a lot more work. If your goal is to go look at the stars and, get away from everybody and just spend some quiet time together or a quiet time in a group, then yeah, that's a good spot to go. If you don't like sleeping in a tent and on an air mattress and you want to have air conditioning and, all that other stuff, probably not a good choice.
Yes.
So it's more of figuring out what kind of camp. There's some people that go camping, which just means that they're closer to their fishing spot, so they can get up at 6:00 in the morning and go fishing, and then come back and sit at their camper until it's time to go fishing again the next day.
Which there's no wrong
or later that night
for that. It's a lot of personal enjoyment.
It's just whatever. You got to figure out what makes you happy and go do that.
I want to be alone with her, right? Because I like her presence. I enjoy being alone with her, which is weird for me because I've never been in a relationship like that, which is obviously a green flag for a relationship. Like, I get that now as an adult, but I like cooking on a fire. I don't know why. I fucking love that shit. She's bringing the cast iron with the sticks and we're making stew. Like, it's a whole thing. The recipe played out. It's awesome. Fucking awesome. The stars. It has a river, right, that you're right next to, and it's fed in by a natural spring. So it's like the clearest, bluest water in Texas, in the middle of the goddamn desert. I don't have to worry about bears, but you're gonna fucking laugh. You're gonna laugh at me for this, but something I do have to worry about is illegals.
Seems right.
It's in the middle of nowhere, in a hot spot for illegals, so that is something that we actively have to think about protecting ourselves from.
It's kind of the same thing as bears.
Kinda, yeah. I could definitely scare them off if I take my clothes off and go, rah, freak them out.
You can spray them with bears. You can spray them with bear spray.
I have guns. It's Texas.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you don't really want to hurt somebody. You just want to bear spray them.
Yeah, I mean, they see the gun, but so we will be armed and all this stuff, and I'm just so excited. I have never been this excited for a birthday since my parents took me snowboarding one year. Like, it reminds me of being a kid. Like, this is something I really, really want. The only thing that would make it better, which is not something I would ever ask, is like if you guys were there, that would be fucking awesome. But that's too big of an ask for a birthday. We have our yearly camping trip for a reason, which we will be attending this next year, or Gabe. But he's got stuff going on here soon, so I'm not going to pull him from that.
Yeah.
But that's it. I don't want anybody else there. Like, besides the three of you and your families, I don't want anybody else there. I don't want fucking I just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
I got a telescope for it. It's super cool.
Nice.
And it'll be
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
that's what you're into. Go have fun with it.
It'll be in the desert in the middle of winter. And so what I know she's gonna get it for me for my birthday, but I've been wanting a wood fire stove. Portable wood fire stove.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's gonna be so fucking
Good to have in case of the apocalypse, too.
Well, yes. It's not cheap. I know she's spending a pretty penny on it, but I've seen so many survival camping videos of people cooking with them, and I'm just so excited to just go out there and for a few days and I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird hobby. A lot of people like we progressed in civilization for thousands of years to get away from this, and we're going back. And it's like, yeah,
It's not weird. There's a lot of people that go camping like that. I mean, there's people that backpack in. Like my sister was part of the Montana Conservation Corps, and they go up and like they take care of the trails and like declutter the woods and things like that, and like they'll backpack in for like weeks at a time.
oh, that sounds awesome.
And yeah, so I mean it's definitely something a lot of people do. In fact, even there's some people that would say because you're driving to the campsite, it's actually not even that primitive. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that will like hike in like 4 or 5 miles, like up into the mountains, or
Which would
spend a day hiking in and setting up campsites, like, and not like have full campsites and stuff.
Which would be my ideal situation, but it's also knowing the limits of my lady. She wouldn't want to do that at all, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely not an easy thing to do.
No, and it's something I would never ask her to do, for me.
What personally, like, it sounds cool, like in theory, but it also sounds like a shit ton of work.
Yeah, and it will be. It's less work for me than it would be for you because I don't have kids to worry about, obviously, right? Like, it's just 2 people. We bring 1 case of water, a couple gallons of potable water, and then all of our gear, and we're set.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring a couple of books. Talk about books. I'm bringing Red Rising. So
Maybe you'll finish it one day.
eat my ass. My decent wienering for sure, 100%.
See, I personally like camping. I like definitely more luxury, but I also like having I don't like going out to like bars and going and doing stuff like that, but I do enjoy like going to the casino or, spending time doing some of that kind of fun stuff. That's where I do have a very good time.
I will say I used to hate casinos until I learned craps. I love that shit now. I think about it. I think about doing it.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's weird. I look up videos and like theories on like, oh, this is what you should be betting on. This is what you should be doing. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Mhm.
It's about it's about winning money, obviously, because you get that rush when you win money. But I think I could play that game without actually winning any money or losing any money and still have a great fucking time.
Oh yeah, it's just a fun game to play.
Yeah, I had such a blast. And then of course afterwards, when you win a bunch of money, you're like, oh fuck, this is awesome.
Oh yeah. There's nothing better than winning money.
No, it was yeah, eye opening. I'm gonna rate some sandwiches. I'd like to post them on our Facebook page this weekend. So this
Sounds like a good plan.
I thought that would be a cool little interaction we could do. I'm going to Charleston for work, so I'll be there all weekend long. And Charleston is actually known for their seafood. So I'm going to try some soft shell crab sandwiches, some lobster bisques, things like that. Start rating. I want to start
yeah.
rating some sandwiches. We're fucking Sammy's and Beer. We need to be rating sandwiches.
We do.
Just some thoughts, some ideas. I've been thinking about stuff a lot,
That's good.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about football plans a lot.
I don't expect much from you for the next few months. I'll be honest. You're out there being a good dad. I know you're excited. I see the pictures you're posting. You should be.
Oh yeah, it's a blast. I love it.
Are they doing good?
They lost their first game 20-0.
That's not too bad. Was it like 40?
No. No, well, and they were missing a couple of players, and it's a young team, and I
Your
think
son's
they've
first
got
year.
a lot of improvement. Huh?
It's your son's first year. Expectations are a little lower.
In tackle? Yep.
So
No. Expectations are always high.
even better. Um,
You set the bow, they stay low. You set the bar high, gives them something to push for.
aim small, miss small, I suppose.
Hmm.
Yeah. I did have a question, an odd one.
Hmm.
I know you recently lost your grandparents. How do you approach death when it comes to children?
Mm,
They're definitely exposed to it a lot more with video games and media now than I'd say I was back in the day.
yes and no. Like, it's one thing to be exposed to death, it's another thing to have someone close to you die.
True.
It's a totally different aspect. And, I just kind of explained what happened and then, told them to ask questions and let them feel the way they feel. It's kind of weird because there's two sides of this that I've heard, and I agree with both, and I really don't know what the best way with it is.
And it's usually both.
My grandpa.
The answer's usually both.
Well, so here's the scenario. My grandpa was 85 when he passed away. When he was growing up, when somebody passed away, there generally wasn't funeral homes and things like that. Would put the body in somebody's house, your house, and people would come over and pay their respects there, and they'd have the body there. And he absolutely hated that.
Okay.
He said he didn't like it. He's like, that's not how I want to remember people. That wasn't them. That was just their body. And he goes, and it never looked the right. And he goes, and I could never get that image out of my head. And he goes, so he didn't want a viewing. Him and my grandma were both cremated, but they didn't do some people do, like, even if they are cremated, they'll do a service with the body there and then, get cremated after and things like that. And he was very, very against it.
Okay.
My father-in-law, on the other hand, who is a funeral director, he is very for it because he says it gives people closure with being able to see the person, see that they're gone, say goodbye. He said it allows people to close that book in their life.
Well, I would say Sammy's and Beer's #1 fan has a lot of experience with that,
I don't know what that means.
I called him Sammy's and Beer's #1 fan because he watched us twice in a row.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
No.
Yes, obviously he has a lot of experience with it. And, and I can totally understand both sides of it from both people. Whether that gives you that closure or not, I don't know. Whether it's healthy, and I think like anything, it affects people different ways. And some people need to see it for the closure. And some people don't. Some people, it affects them different. And I don't think for some people, it's not as good for them. But I don't know.
That's fair. I definitely don't need the closure, personally.
Say what now?
Like the physical closure.
Sorry, my headset.
I definitely don't personally need it. I've never liked it either,
Yeah.
But my father does, and I've seen that. He's getting to the age where a lot of his mentors and stuff are passing, And if he's going to a funeral, I'm not gonna let him go alone, right? I'm right there with him, even right. And he is definitely a person who needs to like hold their hand and say goodbye for sure.
Yeah.
It's like I see the other end, you know. While it's not who I am,
Mhm.
I get it. Some people like beef, some people
Yeah.
like chicken.
Nobody likes fucking chicken. You could have said pork, but nobody likes chicken.
I like chicken. I like beef more than chicken, but chicken's not bad.
Exactly. I never said chicken was bad. You said some people like beef, some people like chicken. No, some people like beef. Most people just eat chicken.
Chicken's good.
I never said it wasn't.
It's I don't know.
Chicken is the healthy option that you know you should eat and that you do eat until you're finally like, how many times have you been sitting there and you're like, you know what would be really fucking good right now? I could really go for a grilled chicken breast with a side of fucking green beans. You ever had that happen?
I've never had those words come out of my mouth ever. No.
No? You ever been like, you know what sounds really fucking good right now that we should go get? I want a cheeseburger with some French fries.
Yeah, I say that a lot.
Some people like beef. Most people tolerate chicken.
I'd say chicken is definitely higher on the list for me than pork is, for sure.
Okay.
And I like pork. Don't get me wrong. I love pork. My girlfriend's mom actually makes the chicken cordon bleu, right? You stuff a chicken breast with ham and cheese and you bread it. She does that, but with pork chops instead of chicken.
So she takes a pork chop and stuffs it with ham?
Ham and cheese, and then breads it and fries it. It's fucking delicious. It's half the price because pork is
Oh,
cheap
yeah.
as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes pork is the move, but I gotta say, I eat more chicken than any other meat right now.
Oh, I eat more chicken than I do eat of any other meat because it's healthier for you.
Yeah.
It's low in fat, high protein.
Oh, I did have another question for you.
What's up?
Would you ever live by the ocean?
Where by the ocean?
It could be any of the coastlines for the United States.
Yeah.
Would you prefer it from living, like, say, in the Midwest or in the mountains or wherever else? People, that's their dream. They want to live by the ocean.
No, like I don't have to have a dream of like I don't have a dream of like living by the ocean. Like I think it'd be cool. Like I've got a buddy who's just drove up to Alaska and he's doing a bunch of fishing and like taking pictures of like the salmon that he's caught and stuff like that. So I think it would be really cool. I don't know if I would want to live by the ocean. The biggest deter that I have is a lot of people, like you said, do want to live by the ocean. So then there's a fuck ton of people around, and I don't like that.
Agreed.
Um,
You have to worry about the weather.
and you do. You have to worry about hurricanes and tsunamis.
Just honestly, weekly flooding in general. That's some houses are built on stilts for a reason. Like it's rough.
Yeah.
I have friends who went in on a house on the coast. And I personally, and I didn't say this because it's not my place, but I just didn't think it's a good idea. I personally don't think it's a great idea to live by the ocean. Can you support yourself? Absolutely, right? Like the apocalypse happens, you have this source of salt, water, and fish. Awesome.
Mhm.
But I don't think I could ever live by the ocean. Personally.
I could. I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool,
Yeah.
And I've only seen the ocean a couple of times.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
My kids have never seen the ocean.
Not yet.
Nope.
We gotta
But it also, because I'm such a landlocked person, I'm also very intimidated by the ocean.
I think you should be.
Like, I think everybody should be. Like, we're not sea creatures. We shouldn't.
No, yeah. We are no
Like,
longer the
there's
most
crazy
dangerous
fucked up
thing
shit that
out there
happens.
when you were in the ocean.
So, not even close.
No.
Like, you see these people paddleboarding and then having like killer whales come up to them and
Fuck them up.
like. I saw a dude in a boat and a fucking whale jumped up and landed on his boat and like just destroyed the boat. And I'm like, yeah, don't be in the ocean.
Well, they need to be in the ocean because I need my shrimp and my tuna.
Well,
But my ass ain't gonna be out there. And I like the ocean.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I love the ocean, but I like the ocean. I grew up around the ocean. We went all the time, coast to coast. But
yeah.
I could not live by the ocean. But yeah, so I don't know. Life's getting weird. I'm getting old. The things I think about are not the things I used to think about. I think about tits only like 12 times a day now.
Faults.
It used to be like 200 to 300 times a day, at least. Like,
You're not watching enough TikTok then.
Took up a good third of my life was titties, so it's weird.
It happens.
Growing old is weird. Planning my sister's wedding, and by that I mean planning the goofy shit I'm going to do at my sister's wedding, because obviously I have no stake in the plans of her actual wedding.
As you shouldn't. Why? I don't know why you would.
Yeah. Which, you know what she wants to do for a bachelorette party?
No?
Ghost hunting.
God, your family's so fucking weird.
Yeah, we are. She has a bunch of the equipment that we've been buying her for years because she watches the shows and stuff. And she, for her bachelorette party, we're staying in a historically haunted hotel, wants to go ghost hunting.
That's just goofy.
She's a goofy girl. I will be at the bachelor party with my future brother-in-law getting fucked up down the street at Howl at the Moon.
Ooh. I don't know what that is either, so.
I think you've seen Coyote Ugly, right?
Yes.
Think of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that. Just general. I actually super surprised. I know he's not going to watch this, so it's whatever. I secured some Cuban cigars for the event.
I fucking hate cigars.
I think they're okay, but the status behind Cuban cigars is going to be a really nice gift to give him that we all can enjoy together on the day of the bachelor party.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're Cuban, so I get it, but, like...
They're not that much better, I'll be honest with you. Still...
Well, they're still cigars. Like, I cannot stand cigars.
Your mouth...
Like, I even bought, for my birthday this year, we went to, like, this tobacco shop in Deadwood, and they had tons of them, and I even picked out, like, one that was, like, it was vanilla. I love vanilla. Picked out, my favorite flavor, and I puffed on it for a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty tasty. It tasted great right away. I puffed on it. I finished it. And then for the next 3 hours, I was just like, oh, God, this is just garbage. Why did I do this?
You gotta have a strong whiskey to balance out that fucking cat asshole taste.
I was drinking, and it was still not good.
Yeah, I mean... We're making it a man's thing, but it's not going to be great. My breath is going to stink.
Yep.
Whatever. Yeah. Trying to think of the other questions.
I've been watching... I got on a new, very interesting side of TikTok that I've never been on before. It's these stories of like people that like crimes that have been committed and like murders that have happened, and man, there's some fucked up people out there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of fucked up people out there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess TikTok is a good way to expose it, but you have that whole genre of stuff on Netflix is just like true crime documentaries where they go over the most heinous things people have ever done.
Yeah.
And it's
See,
interesting.
and I generally don't watch stuff like that, but I started reading these, and of course, the more you read one, or the more time you spend on one, then the more it fills your TikTok feed, and yeah,
And a lot of it, you see, are kids too, just doing the
yeah.
fucking craziest shit.
But yeah, like there was the one. I think the one that first started it for me was like these 11-year-olds lured this 2-year-old away from his mom at like a shopping mall,
Yep.
and then rolled,
Tortured and
and it's just like tortured and murdered, and it's just like holy shit, man. What is wrong with people?
a lot, you know, and
Yeah.
it sucks. My favorite thing is courtroom recordings of people getting the life sentence that deserve it.
I don't think life sentence is enough. Do you believe in corporal punishment?
Absolutely, I do.
Capital punishment? Whatever you want it?
Kill him.
Oh, I agree.
I also think you should lose your wiener if you're a pedophile. If not, die. If you don't want to kill him, that's fine. Just take the wiener and go.
Oh, no, I'm fine with killing him.
Kind of want to take the wiener first and then go from there. That's personally. Let's see how it goes after that.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
No, not at all.
I think we are way too lenient on criminals of that nature.
So, I recently watched something last night. Actually, it's funny you bring it up. There was an interviewer, and I don't know what his name is. He's on YouTube. Holly loves him, and he interviewed an exorcist. That's why she wanted to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
A current practicing Catholic Church approved exorcist, and they talked about the prison system and corporal punishment and stuff like that. And he was talking about the fact humanity is there in some places and not there in others. And in the belief system, it is absolutely okay to kill somebody. Like in the Bible and everything, it's absolutely corporal punishment is absolutely okay in certain situations. He was like, hey, that doesn't mean we should kill all criminals. Like, there's a whole system, but your civilization has to progress to a point where you can do that and rehabilitate them. And if you're not there, then they're
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, I don't think we should kill people who get arrested for drugs or
no.
Things like that. But I'd go as far as even rapists.
Oh yeah, done. The issue is finding out the truth. That's where the issue lies. It's the false allegations.
I agree. It would have to be something that you could, but nowadays with a lot of cameras and stuff like that, you can, at this point, we can really prove a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I can understand, 20, 30 years ago, okay, yeah, we're just going to throw them in prison because this is what we're pretty sure happened, but we can't be for sure. Wow. We track most things, and there's cameras pretty much everywhere.
If it's without a reasonable doubt for pedophilia, murder, rape, all of that, without a reasonable doubt, just take them out.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Not even a little bit. You already, you destroyed somebody's life, so.
Exactly. Even if they're still alive, that doesn't mean that they're okay for at any time.
And I think I would hope that it would deter people too. Right now it's if I get caught for that, I got to spend 20 years in prison or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit different if you're hey, if I do this and get caught, they're going to fucking kill me.
Yes. And it is a deterrent. For some people, for some people it's not at all. They just don't care.
But that's good then, that we should kill them, because if they don't care, they should be dead.
Take their genes out of the gene pool.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the whole forgiveness thing, and it's I can absolutely forgive someone after they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will send them to the person who gets to forgive them.
It's wild. The whole everything the way the world's going right now is wild, and I'm sure people have been saying that for hundreds of years. That's just change.
Oh yeah.
It's always going to be like that. There will always be conflict. There will always be something. I remember seeing I saw some TikToks of the news broadcasts of when they took away being able to drink and drive, and everyone thought it was like the fucking worst thing on the planet. They're like, "Wait, you mean I can't
Yeah.
leave work, go home, and crack a beer while going home? I thought this was America." I'm like, "Homie, I get it, but like that's a good thing that happened. Like, it's okay."
There's something to be said for a good road beer on the way home.
I'm not gonna argue with that, but
I mean,
it's just like you see those videos and you're like, God, why did they have to get the white trashing looking motherfucker to do that? Why couldn't they get a guy in a suit? Like, come on.
because you think he was dumb enough to admit it?
That's so true. It's just, oh, I don't know. Progress is great. We've made great progress. We're gonna continue to make great progress, and either we're gonna stop as a civilization and die, or my great grandkids will be living on Mars. You know.
I saw one that said that they think that the first immortal human has already been born.
That's weird. We're not lobsters. This is not how biology works.
I don't know. If you develop the technology to be able to like replace body parts and do things like that,
It's cell regeneration. You don't have enough DNA. Like, your DNA will decompose to the point where the cells that are made are just not healthy cells.
but what if they figure out a way around it?
I mean, I guess it's possible. Anything's possible.
They could.
Well, first of all, I get your notebook and pen. Through Christ, all things are possible. So why don't you just jot that down for me? But besides that, like, I would you live forever?
I don't know.
I don't
There's a lot of factors that would have to go. I would have to ask a lot of questions.
Here's the scenario. A genie comes up to you and he's like, "Hey, I can make you live forever right now. You'll never die. Your body will regenerate within
Just
6 hours of disintegration." Like,
just me?
just you.
Nope. Nope.
It's lonely.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
I also wouldn't live forever. I did see a really cool writing prompt that I did a few thousand words on, where it was an immortal and someone who reincarnates with all their memories meet, and they spend the next like 3,000 years being best friends.
It's got to be weird for a little while though, because he'd be like best friends with like an infant.
Yeah, but the infant can talk and has the mental capacity of someone who's mature.
Yeah, but it'd still be weird that he'd be best friends with an infant for a little while.
The way
and have to like go search him out.
the way I put it out was like the game of the immortal finding the guy who could reincarnate, or a woman, because it's reincarnation, so it's either or, and then they would just find him in their early 20s usually, do life together for 60, 70 years, and then play the game again.
Speaking of like being immortal, I saw one that, and it was a TikTok that they were talking about where this guy gets awoken and people found out that he was immortal and got mad about it and locked him in a cage. And he was supposed to be there for like 10,000 years, but they forgot about him, or he doesn't know what happened because all of a sudden people just quit showing up. And then all of a sudden, after like 50,000 years, somebody opened, and it's like things like that would fuck. Can you imagine being like nothingness for 10,000 years?
When the existence of all time is your lifespan, 10,000 years is like a second.
It's still 10,000 years, though.
I
get that it's a second. I get that it's a second, but you still got to live through every day.
Yeah. Could be just a really good nap. For someone like that. Just thinking about it, like, sure, it would suck, but all things come to an end. Like,
I just don't think that like stuff like that would be even possible because of like the memory and like how much your brain can actually remember and comprehend and like
Yes, you'd be driven
there's a
insane.
lot of stuff that you well there's a lot of stuff just like even from your childhood that you probably don't remember. Like I'll have conversations with my brothers and sisters and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you remember this?" And I'm like, "I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about." You know?
Yeah, I have those
And
conversations.
just as you get older and we all remember things for different times and different reasons and um and yeah, so like yeah,
It'd be too much for sure.
10,000 days in darkness. Yeah,
10,000 days without eating potatoes.
I don't think the human brain.
That would be 10,000 days without eating. What I think would be what ended me, because that's what keeps my sanity going personally.
What kind of potatoes?
Oh, all of them.
Fried potatoes?
Fried, boiled, mashed.
Fried.
Doesn't matter. I look
Boiled is really just mashed, isn't it? Like,
I mean,
like, do you ever boil and then not mash them?
absolutely, when you eat them in soups. I get through my day by thinking about the meals I'm about to eat, for sure. And it's like such a fat piece of shit way of living, but it's how I've gotten through like every training I've ever been through. I'll look like basic training. I'll look at the clock and I'm like, okay, it's 9:00. 2 more hours to lunch. 1 more hour to lunch. You get to lunch. All right, lunch is over. You ride that high for a little bit. All right, it's 1:00. 4 more hours to dinner.
Well, is it the meal that you're looking forward to, or the fact that you're going to be done with what you're doing in that time?
I think it's the meal, as shitty as that sound. It's like the chewing, the tasting, and like all of that. Because it wasn't great food. Like I wasn't like I was eating Michelin star food. It's fucking turkey a la king with a roll, but just eating. It helps. And for me, like at work specifically, like okay, what gets me through my morning drive is I'm gonna stop here and get tacos here, or I have this breakfast sandwich I made the night before. I can't wait to eat. And then I get to work, I start working. I'm like, oh, only a couple more hours till I can go get Jimmy John's or microwave this lunch that I made, And then my drive home is thinking about, all right, what am I going to do for dinner? What am I going to cook here? How am I going to do this? Food takes up like a good third of my daily thought processes.
See, I actually hate that aspect of food, of constantly having to decide what to make for supper and what's going to go with it, and
Oh, I love it.
it's driving me fucking nuts.
I love it. But I only have to really worry about me and a couple other people who will eat whatever I cook no matter what. Does not matter.
Yeah.
I've also been trying to get more into raps.
So, like Ice Cube, NC, like
That's
NWA, like what kind of rap?
The first rapper you think of is Ice Cube?
Yeah, why not?
I guess NWA is good. Snoop Dogg is the first rapper I think of ever.
See, I don't know. Snoop Dogg was a little bit of a rapper, but like, can you name like a solo Snoop Dogg album or a Snoop Dogg song?
No.
That's just Snoop Dogg?
No. Well, he did do that Christmas album.
From Pitch Perfect?
He ended up doing the album, like the whole thing. Yeah.
From Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just saying.
But can you name a song that is an album of Snoop Dogg's that's just his?
Probably not.
Like, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like, you think of him as like the greatest rapper.
Oh, he's not the greatest rapper.
Is he the
Just
greatest
who I
rapper?
think
Or is he?
of.
He was just a solid businessman.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is no refuting the fact that Snoop Dogg is a fucking smart man. That new guy he signed, Little Dicky, with his show Dave, fucking love it.
I don't listen to rap, so.
No, you need to watch the show Dave. I think it's right up your alley. It's very cringe humor and really funny.
Okay.
I think it's on Hulu. I'm not sure, but you'd like it. What were we talking about? I mean, I'm personally not a huge fan of wrap, anyways. But I was talking about like eating things in a tortilla in a white person fashion.
How is that a white person fashion?
It's just the way the flavors meld. It's white people food. It's not Mexican. It's white
How is it not Mexican?
because there's no rice and beans, no Mexican seasonings. It's not a burrito. It's a wrap.
What are Mexican seasoning?
Well, you got like Mexican oregano, cumin, which is comino, consomme.
What, can you tell me the difference between regular oregano and Mexican oregano?
Where it's grown, its flavor profile, how it's dried.
They be called oregano. Both be called oregano if they're very different.
Because one is called Mexican oregano.
It sounds pretty racist on your part.
It is. I honestly think the basis of Mexican cuisine is comino and consomme, and that's it. Everything else is the fucking same.
There's cumin. You guys like cumin in Mexican foods.
And the funny thing is, I don't like.
Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not in a lot of Mexican food.
I know, but like the rice I taught you how to make, I don't. You're supposed to put cumin in it, and I don't because I just get. But no, I've been trying to eat more wraps. It has helped me eat healthier, like some low-fat cheese, lots of protein, a little bit of lettuce. Can't eat a lot of lettuce because of my tummy. Extra veggies, tomatoes, zucchinis, stuff like that. It's been great. It's actually been really great.
Get the carb balanced tortillas too.
I've been thinking about, I wouldn't say upgrading, more like downgrading to carb balanced tortillas.
I'm not gonna say like that they're phenomenal tortillas, but they work well and they're like super high in protein, and so like
Yeah,
you're getting a good amount of protein, and then you can I mean it's not, I don't know, it's fuel. It's not
it's definitely better than eating
the best thing in the
tortilla.
world. Yeah, they're better for you.
Agreed. The one thing I put
Better
in my
than
wraps,
better than eating bread.
oh yeah, which I have noticed a difference on like my energy levels. Like I'm not sleepy after I eat food. The one thing I will say that I add to all my wraps that's different, I think, than most people do is I will not eat a wrap without slices of pickles in it.
That's fucking weird.
And you know what? And I think it is, but I fucking love it. I really do. We went to this Italian restaurant last night, and they have a policy that I think is the best policy in the world. Any sandwich they bring you comes with a pile of sliced pickles.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no. And it wasn't even just like, because I had a chicken parm sandwich, so I'm not going to throw pickles on a chicken parm sandwich. Like, that's too much for me, right?
But when you say a policy, like, did they tell you that it was a policy,
I
or were
asked
you just
about it.
assuming, or?
I asked the waitress, because she brings out a chicken parm, and there's a pile of sliced pickles on my plate, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I didn't order this many pickles. I'm going to eat them because I love pickles, but I'm like, what's going on here? And she's like, oh yeah, that's the policy that comes out with every sandwich that you order. It's just a pile of pickles and a pile of potato chips. I started putting pickles on the potato chips. Great time.
Too much crunch.
It was so much crunch, but it was good. Like, and we're going back tomorrow night, and they have like a Italian hero, like a hero, so like a bunch of Italian meats on a sub, like doused in vinegar and stuff, like different dressings, and it's gonna come with that pile of pickles. I'm gonna fucking use it to tear that shit up. Like, it's gonna be delicious.
Sounds like a fun plan.
It's the little things. On Monday, when I'm back from Charleston, I have a date planned where I'm taking her to a beer garden, and we're gonna have Jaeger Schnitzel, which I'm not sure if you've ever had it, but I think you would fucking love it.
Maybe.
It's a deep fried pork cutlet in a mushroom gravy sauce, like slathered in a mushroom.
It sounds
sauce.
delicious.
It's so good. It comes with potatoes and sauerkraut, which I don't know if you like sauerkraut, but it's potatoes and
It's cabbage.
yeah, it's delicious.
Fermented cabbage.
It's Super good. I love me some fermented cabbage, whether it's German or Korean, doesn't matter.
Kimchi.
I love me some kimchi. Cucumber kimchi with that crunch.
Yeah. All right. Well, we did make it to our 1 hour, and we didn't even talk about what I was planning on talking about, which was dreams.
Ah, nuts. And
Which is fine. Yeah, no. It was weird that you brought it up because I'd been having like dreaming a lot more recently than I remember.
That's so
weird.
So
but
next podcast, I'd like to talk
another
about...
day, another time.
Then write them down.
We'll see. No.
Fine.
So, all right. Well, thank you all so much for stopping by. This has been the Sammy's and Beer podcast live here on this Whiskey Wednesday. We appreciate y'all so much for stopping by. Hopefully I'll have some good news for you all next week about the Pearl Jam concert and safe flights there and back. Thomas, any final words?
I'm the godparent, right? So if you die in the plane crash, like I get to take care of the boys?
My wife will still be alive.
You're flying separate?
She's not going.
Oh, I thought she was going. Oh.
No, just me and my brother.
That changes everything. Damn. Well, all right.
So.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for stopping by. This has been another Whiskey Wednesday. We will talk to you all next week, and we'll be back at